Okay, so we are wrapping up our night here in Crescent City. We're about to hit the rack and somehow get motivated to ride, touch wood. What looks like it's going to be a day of rain tomorrow. The temperatures dropped considerably this afternoon, and the forecast is for 70, depending on who you ask, 70 to 90% rain. We'll be going through the redwood forest tomorrow. I'm not really sure what it's called, but I'll show you. Check this out. Watch. This is where we're riding tomorrow. Like you see where like the red line goes through all the green business right there. That's where we're going. Prairie Creek Redwoods State Park. I call it the Redwood Forest because it sounds like something from a movie. Where owls talk and there's sorcerers and stuff and cauldrons. I'm kind of hoping that we find some cauldrons tomorrow. The people here at the hotel told us that we're going to see a giant herd of elk for sure, because there's so many elk in there that every time you go through there you see them. Pretty amazing. This is definitely John Muir kind of territory here, and I'm real excited about it. Our dedication tonight, as we wrap up our first night off of Pablove Across America 2010, is to a little boy that we knew very well, Luke Piersol, and we got to know Luke and his mom Laura and his dad John very well. First meeting Luke and Laura in the hallways at CHLA. Luke was just a little baby. He passed away when he was 16 months old, and we were with him in the hospital for months. And Laura and Luke would be walking up and down the hall. She'd be holding him in her arms, and many times late at night, when I'd be going down the hallway to the sort of the parents' locker room that they have there to like take a shower or something, or maybe sometimes Pablo and I would be going down the hall to this sort of administrative hallway that was carpeted and filled with cool paintings. We would go down there and run. We would run into Laura and Luke, and we would talk to them. And we got to know John very well, and Luke passed away when Pablo was still in treatment, and I remember Joanne and I went to his funeral. We wrote all about him on the blog as much as we could. We really, Luke couldn't talk. He was a little tiny baby. We really had a connection with him, and still do have a connection with his parents. It's very easy for me to talk for as long as possible about Luke. I can only tell you that it's not very often that we make a dedication to a 16-month-old child, and tonight we're doing that. I would like to see the day, whether it's the result of our efforts or the result of somebody else's efforts, where a 16-month-old boy is diagnosed with this thing called cancer, and gets a shot in the arm and gets to go home, and gets to turn 2, and gets to go to preschool, and gets to learn how to kick a soccer ball, learn how to ride a bike, and then gets to go to kindergarten. I would really like that. Luke is an inspiration to us. His parents, John and Laura, are an inspiration to us to go through cancer treatment with a little child. And I remember Joanne and I talking about, like, could you imagine, other people look at us and say, we can't imagine what you're going through. And we could look at our friends John and Laura and say, we can't imagine what you're going through. Your little boy can't even speak. How can he tell you if something hurts, or if he needs something, or if he's hungry, or if he doesn't want to eat because the drugs they're putting in his body are taking away his appetite? I could see John or Laura anywhere in the world. I wouldn't care if I hadn't had sleep in 10 days and hadn't eaten in 20. I could sit down with them and talk to them for hours. We have this thing in common. We met on the front lines of a battlefield. No, it wasn't across the world in some faraway place. No, there were no guns and bullets involved. There were no embedded reporters. I'll tell you something, I never saw an embedded reporter in a cancer ward of a children's hospital yet. The fact is, we're the embedded reporters. We're the people going in there with our iPhones, and we're the people going in there with our hearts and with our message. And we are the people, among many other people who are on the front lines with us, many people who are doing great work, many people who are funding our foundation right now. We're the people who are making a difference on the front lines of that war, you and us. And I can know one thing about me and Joanne and John and Laura. None of us ever wished to be there. None of us ever signed up for it. It wasn't even an issue of an involuntary draft. We just woke up one day and our children were diagnosed with cancer. And we ended up there on the front lines. And we did our best for our children. And we treated them with dignity. And we fought very hard for them. And we continue on. And tonight, as we put our heads down, we will remember baby Luke with all of our hearts. And we ask you if you wouldn't mind doing the same and thinking warm thoughts about that little boy. Good night.